My name is Amy Litzinger, and I am your chair for today. Today is December 12th, 2025, and I am glad to see all of you here today. Um, I am excited that we're going to close out this year on a good note. Um, would we like to just for a reminder, read the member duties from our agenda? Laura, would you like to do that for us?
Yes, I am grabbing them right as we speak. Okay, yes. So just a reminder that the CAC member duties are one, to advise TEA of the unmet needs within the state of the education of children with disabilities. Also to comment publicly on any rules or regulations proposed by the state regarding the education of children with disabilities. To advise TEA in developing evaluations and reporting on data to the secretary. Advise TEA in developing corrective action plans to address findings identified in federal monitoring reports under Part B of the Act. Advise TEA in developing and implementing policies relating to the coordination of services for children with disabilities. And then also to advise TEA in setting standards related to significant disproportionality determination.
Thank you very much. Today we will have some presentations from TEA, and I'm sure they will be happy to answer all of our questions. Then we will have public comments. Um, we will talk a little bit about our legislative report, and then we will review our meeting minutes, and we will discuss, recommend, and take possible actions on our current minutes and future meeting topics. So with that, Laura, do we have any TEA presentations ready for
Yes.
today?
Yes, so I just have a couple of updates. At the last meeting, there was some requests, and I was able to accommodate two of those right now with our meeting for December. And so first, we will have I have David Maps on here, who is going to share some legislative updates regarding discipline, and then we also have Dawn that's also on here that is going to share some dyslexia updates from requests from the last meeting. So with that said, David, do you want to go ahead and kick us off with discipline?
Yes. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Good morning, everyone. This is just a quick update and overview of some of the information from the discipline and what we had in the 89. Um, a lot of this has to do with suspensions. So the first one is we're talking about in-school suspensions. So in-school suspensions now is not subject to any time limit. The length of the term is determined by the local policy. So there is no time limit that is in statute at this time. Part of that means that an administrator must review the student's educational progress at least once every 10 days while they are attending ISS. And if it is determined that it's appropriate, the administrator must document the determination that it is okay for the student to remain in ISS additionally. So they must do documentation and review this every 10 days. A student in ISS must be provided with appropriate behavioral support services and comparable educational services that is received in the regular classroom. If the student does receive special education services under subchapter A, which is just the special education stuff, then the student must continue to receive their special education and related services while they are in school suspension. All of the things that are identified in their individualized education program, their IEP, or their 504 plan, and also continue to have an opportunity to progress in the general education curriculum and meet those goals and objectives that they have that has been placed from them either through the ART committee or through the 504 committee. The next thing is the out of school suspensions. So out of school suspensions is limited to 3 days. And so they did make that distinction that out of school suspension is 3 days. And there are some behaviors that do constitute of out of school suspension for students who are below the 3rd grade or experiencing homelessness, because we know part of the what it says is that for students who are experiencing homelessness or are under the 3rd grade, that we are not able to give them out of school suspensions, but there are instances where those things could happen, and those are listed here. So if we have conduct that contains the elements of an offense related to weapons, those are the weapons that are described earlier in the chapter. Conduct that threatens the immediate health and safety of other students in the classroom. Documented conduct that results in repeated or significant disruption to the classroom, and then also conduct that contains elements of drugs or alcohol. For those things, out of school suspension can be considered for students who are below 3rd grade or students who are experiencing homelessness. And this is Mary Scott is our policy and compliance discipline specialist. Our contact, if you have any questions, you can reach out to her there at student discipline support at tea.texas.gov. And we also have the student discipline webpage that is updated. And that is what I have for you this morning. Any questions or anything that I need to address?
Can you send that PowerPoint to Laura so that the committee can have access to it, please?
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, David. All right, so we're going to move to dyslexia.
Good morning. All right, let me share my slide. All right, there we go. You guys should be able to see it now. Can you see that, Laura?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I was asked about numbers for dyslexia, and on this screen right here, you can see that in the past 5 years, there's been almost a 60% increase of students identified with dyslexia. So in the first, well, let me go through the colors first. You have the box up there. In blue is dyslexia and SPED, so students who are identified with dyslexia under special education. The green is dyslexia and 504, and then the orange is dyslexia and they're not SPED or 504, but they've been coded as dyslexic in our PEIMS. And you can see our numbers. They have continued to increase in the past 5 to 6 years that we've been tracking this. You can see that we have the shift. We have more students identified in special education than in section 504, and this is something we would expect. Even with the 329,000 plus students identified with dyslexia, that's 6% of our 6.5% of our 5.5 million students in the state of Texas. And when you look at researchers, they talk about the identification in the population would be anywhere from 10 to 15%. You also see 5 to 7. It's a little different across the board with some of their researchers. So at 6%, we don't have too many, even though I know some people are concerned that we have a lot more being identified and tested. But again, if we look at the numbers, I think we're doing a good job at the state and can do a better job in the future. And it looks like we're headed that way with our numbers. So this is what I had to share about our numbers with dyslexia. Are there any questions? Mine is pretty short and sweet.
It may be,
This is
oh, go ahead, Janie.
Janie Melendez, and I'm actually a dyslexia teacher at one of the districts in the Rio Grande Valley. And I'm a little bit concerned because I know that the state gave the legislative a few years back gave school districts the opportunity to train teachers. I was one of those that took the advantage and I got trained. And I'm paying my own so that I can get trained in other curriculums. But I'm concerned because I went to a training in Region 1 and there were at least 13 different school districts. And I know Region 1 has more than that. But every school district that was in that training, and this was this past summer, had been using Lexia, which is artificial intelligence. And honestly, I know that I had to use it because that's what my district was using at the time. But I also had been trained in another one, but it was in Spanish, so I tried to incorporate that into the English whenever possible. However, I'm concerned because the students are still being some of the districts were still being using Lexia, which if you look at the dyslexia handbook, even the one that was published last year or this year, it still specifies that it has to be direct instruction. I know
Correct.
that there's really good school districts. I know that there's really good regions. Region 4, I love it because anytime I have a question, I get responses very quick. And they even did one of their reading by design, which I know some of our districts in the Rio Grande Valley are using. But one of the components of that is that it has to be small group instruction, especially because you're getting the students that are in resource that already need LD and then have a learning disability, and then they go into dyslexia after that because before they weren't being tested, and now they are, and I'm very appreciative of it. But I am concerned because there's groups that are very big, and in honesty, I asked. I was in a meeting and said, "Well, what do you do? How do you get the districts to comply?" And I was in a meeting with the region. And they're like, well, ma'am, we're just here to give advice. We're not a regulatory agency. And this was one of the regions that I happened to be in a meeting. So who does enforce the fact that, yes, the handbook, the dyslexia handbook specifies that it has to be direct instruction 1. If it's AI, like Lexia, it's not. I mean, there's no direct instruction in it. It's after the fact. It's like going to online and doing my own research and getting my medicine for my chronic illness. The other one is there a possibility for TA to keep track of the programs that they're using? Because I know if it's happening at Region 1, in possibility of it happening in other areas of the state. And honestly, these are the kids that we want to make sure that we don't lose them because they hate reading because they can't read. And 2, in ensuring that the groups are not too big. And I remember being in a cohort with other teachers, and the teachers were teaching from librarians to other things, and they were getting all the students ages from first grade to sixth grade. That is a big difference in students' developmental growth. And I will tell you just from experience that a first grader, a second grader is going to be very hesitant to speak and to repeat and to participate when there's students that are a lot older than they are. That is one. And the second one is like the group size. There's once you get your group size too big, you're more of a disciplinarian or babysitter, because there's no way if you have a group of, let's say, 9 students, to be able to help them individually, even walking around. And that's the whole purpose of some of the groups. I know that I've been training some reading by design, maximum 6 in elementary. I think Esperanza is the same thing, depending on severity, because I know that I helped one-on-one, and they did wonderful. So again, I'm very concerned about that. What programs are the different ISDs using? Are we ensuring that the students that by the handbook specifies that it has to be direct instruction instead of artificial intelligence? Can we start tracking that? And honestly, I want to know what are the consequences of a district. You know, if somebody's going to say it's like, okay, they don't do anything, they just give me a letter and continue doing it. Until when is that going to happen, or what's the use of the handbook if nobody follows it? Thank you.
Thank you. So with cyclical review and monitoring, they are actually looking at that. We slowly removing some of that from the dyslexia evaluation monitoring, and now it's been moved under the differentiated monitoring that we have going on. What kind of things that happen? We would have to get monitoring in here to have that conversation with you guys. So that might be something you would like to have in the future, where they could talk about that process. But they are required to do fidelity, and they would be looking at that. Hopefully, we have some new proposed, actually, there's going to be some proposed rule under Texas Administrative Code for IEPs for dyslexia, where the district would have to describe more about what they're doing, possibly being required to name the program. So if that moves forward, and you might want, when they do the public comment, you might want to make a public comment during that time as well, as we outline what that's going to look like. But I think that will be a whole lot more helpful. I do appreciate you sharing this information. I will definitely talk with leadership about the information that you shared today. But they are supposed to be following the program with fidelity. They are not supposed to be doing an AI program. You are correct. And that's, that's really all the teeth that we have, is that they do have to follow it with fidelity. And then our monitoring will be looking to see what's going on in the district. And like I said, hopefully that Texas Administrative Code will actually pass. It'll be by spring, and that would help us see a little bit more about making sure they're following fidelity, what programs they're actually doing. I don't know if that would give us, I know it wouldn't give us an opportunity to track exactly what every district is doing for which programs when you were referring to that. We don't have that currently anywhere in statute, and I'm pretty sure we would have to have it somewhere where, if we could track it. And I think you had another question. I'm sorry, I don't remember. Did I answer all of that for you, Jamie?
No, that's fine. I know that I was speaking with an administrator, and the state tracks what they're using DMAC, but for another program. So just as a suggestion, because I know that the TA does track what they're using. I don't know, for keep track of minutes or something. She explained, but I really can't remember. But I know that she said that they could track it if they required for it to be on the DMAC as to what program they're using. Just a suggestion, because I'm not familiar with that. I don't do administration.
Understand. Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
would have to have authority to do it too. We have to have authority for anything that we track. And we currently don't have that.
Michelle, hi. I'm
Yeah, hi.
Celeste, and I had to question a couple of things you said. Number one, do you know what the number of the proposed rule for the Texas Administrative Code that you're talking about? Do you know what that
It's
is? What number that is?
it's 10. Sorry, I didn't mention it. It's 89-1055.
89-1055. Okay.
Mhm.
And you
And
think
it's
that's
under
coming out
IEP.
in this the spring? Okay.
So it would be passed hopefully and would be effective come spring. I believe January. Laura, you probably know more about this than I do on the process. But it's moving down the track, I think so.
Okay. I would like to just state right now for Laura, if we could get monitoring to give an update. I concur with everything Janie's saying. I'd like to extend it, and maybe this is where monitoring could go. You know, Janie's absolutely correct. I mean, just that, I don't know what y'all called it specifically, but just kind of a loose outline of programs that could be utilized that was published by TEA. Like there's about 30 on there. As a CALT and a QI, I'm very knowledgeable about all the different programs, and I know what's happening through a lot of the districts here in the state. They are moving away from those who have the highest level of fidelity and requirements because of the increase in identification, which is fantastic because, as you mentioned, we're still under-identified in our state, even though our numbers are growing. But I'm concerned because I get those students coming over to private school from public about the progress of those kids. And with TIFA, I believe private schools are going to be seeing that particular group moving away from public schools into private schools the most. And I just think that we are in our public school sector, we're just missing, like we mentioned, that educational progress and the tracking to make sure that the programs, there's too much availability to make choices either on class sizes, diluting fidelity. I mean, we hear it from CALTs all the time. They're being pushed to do things that are not how they've been trained to do it. So you mentioned there needs to be authority. I'd like a little more guidance on, and I don't know if that could come from Laura later on, like maybe she can explain that and how we could maybe work towards that as I'm over the dyslexia committee for this CAC. I'd love to get a little more guidance on what that means, and so I could, push us in that direction of requesting authority, because it's the wild west out there when it comes to dyslexia instruction, and it's to the detriment of our students. And I believe we'll see a lot of those kids partaking of TIFA here in the coming year.
Yeah, and it's enroll. So for authority, it would have to be in statute, either Texas Education Code or Texas Administrative Code. And we do have in Texas Education Code 38.003, which is for dyslexia and screening. It was added to have the list. We have a resource list right now because we did not have the authority at that time to create a list. We now have a recommended list that's not out there yet. We will be doing a whole nother vendor screening possibly next spring. We're not sure exactly when that's going to happen, but we are going to update the list and look at recommended, but it's still recommended. It's not the required list. It's not a required list.
Because you don't have authority. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. There's just so many. And then even there's districts, like she said, that are using dyslexia or computer. That is just completely, obviously not within law.
Exactly.
So maybe monitoring will be able to help us there. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
And Michelle, and I have to say there's districts, because I went to all the regions in the state of Texas to see if I could find anything on dyslexia. And some of them don't even have anything. And others were very, I mean, honestly, I went in there and I could find names and I get, as a teacher, I get students that came in from other districts, like Tara said, and the kids are reading now, and it makes me feel great for them and for me, because I feel like I'm doing something. But my concern is that the parents, they email me, they text me, Miss, what can I do at home? So just like there is for ADHD or whatever, a different at the different regions, maybe having something that the parents can look. You know, I have 2 campuses that I go to, so my time limit is, sometimes I feel like I've worked more in all my life than I have any other year. But I try to make it. But I know if I get parents, I know there's other parents that want to help out. And when they can't even get that information in the school district webpage or even the different regions, educational service centers, I think we're failing not just the students, but also the families that could get help.
Thank you for sharing
Thank
that.
you.
Right, I'm going to stop sharing. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for being a part of it, answering the questions. And I did make a note about seeing about getting monitoring on to our next meeting to help answer some of those questions and continue the conversation.
Thanks, Laura.
And then I just have a quick update. Can y'all see that? Can you see the screen?
No, now we can.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So I just have an update. I mentioned some of these at our last meeting, but I just wanted to kind of follow up really quickly, kind of where things stand as far as some rulemaking things. So the cameras in the classroom survey the window has been open since October and it's actually closing today. And so we have almost all LEAs have completed it. We are following up with those couple that still need to finish today, but that survey will close today. And then we have rulemaking that there's several rules that are in the proposed stage, and they are some that the window closed on December 1st, some the window for public comment closed on December 8th, and then we have more public comment windows opening on December 19th. And so I also know that we have Stephen Alleman that is on the call and would like to do public comment here in a minute on some of the rules. But we are moving things through the process right now. So just updates on that.
Thank you for sharing that.
Can I ask a question in regards to cameras in the classroom or not?
Yes, go ahead.
Sure.
Yes, and I'm actually curious because I know that I see the signs when I ever need to speak with the teacher that is in the self-contained unit or life skills unit. But how exactly or how long does the video stay? And what is the process for a parent to request to view in case there is an incident that they're concerned about?
So so parents can request to the installation of a camera, but then also, like, if there's a concern and they would like to view it, then they would contact the campus and the administrator. They are not allowed to take a recording of the. They can't take a recording themselves, but yes, they are authorized to view the video with the administrator. So they would basically just contact the campus administrator, and then they would have access to that video while
So what if
on campus.
what if the campus administrator in the district deny the parent that requested to be? And I'll give you I know of a particular incident where a child was um in the self-contained unit was injured, and this required hospitalization and treatment and you name it. And I know that the parent requested to view or to find out more information, and he was denied. They didn't want to even show them the video of what transpired when that child got injured. This is a child that has limited mobility, and they, I mean, they almost punctured a kidney or something like that. He was an internal organ because of his medical device. So, what is the process that a person takes if the principal says no, if the administrator says no? So, what's the next step? And honestly, how long are the videos kept on file, or are they recorded over?
hmm So yeah, so if a parent would like to request to view the video, yes, they would contact the campus administration. If that is denied or they have a concern with that, then they would need to file or go through the local grievance process with that school district. Um, uh, Basically to move through that process. And then I would have to double check. There is a requirement for the length of time. I'll pull it up in just a second. But there is a requirement of how long that they need to, that the district needs to keep that recording.
So once the parent requested, the school district shouldn't erase it, right?
Yeah, the school district does have the capabilities of, there's the general camera that will, that stays, that the school district can save the videos. So like if a parent requests, the school district can save the video. They cannot give it to the parent, but they can, the school district can request, within the school district, to save that video and have it on hand if, a parent requests. So, and then again, if that request is denied, then they would just go through the local grievance process.
No, now I have another question. As a teacher, if there's an allegation, I don't deal with the students, but if as a teacher, I'm concerned too. What is the process for the teacher to request? Because if there's an allegation, I want to show me the video, show me what happened. Do teachers have the same right as in regards to that or not?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to know because I know that there's always, I'm a teacher, so I want to know, but then I'm also concerned about the students that the parents have access to it because it's very important. Okay, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Stephen is on the call and he has registered for public comment. There is not, I just checked the CAC email and there's no request for public comment in the email, but I know we do have Stephen on here.
Stephen put a request in the chat.
Correct.
I haven't received anyone else. Stephen, are you ready?
I'm ready if you can hear and see me.
Yes.
Awesome. Good morning. Again, my name is Stephen Alaman. I'm a policy specialist with Disability Rights Texas. Disability Rights Texas is the protection and advocacy agency for people with disabilities in our great state. I serve as a resource in the policy community on special education matters and appreciate the time once again to be able to speak to you briefly. And let me start by saying thank you for your service on a Friday morning in the holiday season to pay attention to these important matters. Everything you've discussed so far in your meeting is of importance, whether that's school discipline, students with dyslexia, cameras in the classroom. I'll just mention as an aside, and I'm going to try to put into the chat, a resource that Disability Rights Texas has available to the public on cameras in the classroom and getting access to recordings. My comment today is very brief. As you may know, House Bill 2 and Senate Bill 568 create a brand new special education finance structure for the state of Texas. The law allowed a period of time for TEA to start preparing the state for a shift in the way that it provides state aid to school districts and charter schools for special education. My simple request today is that as part of your agenda planning later today, that you ask for a briefing and update on the progress of transitioning our special education finance system to the new program required by House Bill 2 and Senate Bill 568. There are many details that need to be worked out. I believe that the expertise of this committee, as already demonstrated this morning, could probably provide some very valuable insights and assistance to the TEA as it prepares that transition and new rules and program. This is critical to ensure that everything that we're talking about has the financial backing to be successful. Without resources dedicated by the state, all the requirements that we say are needed or must be in place for students with disabilities are really going to go, as mentioned, just sort of why does it even exist on paper? I believe was an expression used earlier this morning. So again, my request is to request a briefing in 2026 on the special education finance reform update. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Stephen. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, I wanted to, was this for Steve?
Yes.
Yes, Steve, I wanted to ask again, why is it important to request an update at the briefing for the finance?
If I may take a moment just to say that House Bill 2 and Senate Bill 568 created a brand new state finance structure for special education that will not go into effect, however, until the 2026-27 school year. So this period, spring of 2026, is critical for getting that system up and operational so that state aid can be redistributed in a new manner in the next school year. So this provides a period of time for the CAC to provide its own input and oversight on this important transition and changes in state special education law.
anything else before we move to our next agenda item? Stephen, we thank you for your dedicated observation of our committee and all of the good information that you share with us. Laura, is there anything that you think we need from your report that would be useful to talk about in our report now that we are to that point in our agenda?
No, I mean, I have made note of the couple of requests for follow-up from the
Yeah.
next meetings.
So, I know that we've been having some trouble getting subcommittee meetings scheduled lately with everyone being so busy. But, are there any topics from within our subcommittees that y'all have been following lately that people would like to give individual updates about? Or anything that you want to bring up that should be added to what we're already talking about? And as a reminder, I will pull up our list of things that we're focusing on. So we have digital access, staffing, behavior, dyslexia, funding,
No, but Tara's the one in charge of that one. Is that the new one? Or is that the old one?
I think that's the old one.
No,
But we have-
it changed. Tara became, we had changes to.
Yeah, you're right. We did have changes.
So it's in the old agenda. I just needed to remove Joanne because she's no longer.
Yeah. But
I can show you, I can, give access to my computer if you want, or.
yeah, that'll,
It's actually in the minutes for last time.
yeah,
So if you wanna pick up the minutes from last time, you'll see how, that's why I included it, that way we wouldn't have it.
yeah.
It's
Why don't you share your screen?
Sure. Mm. Okay. I don't know if I can get it any bigger, and I don't know how to do it. Can you all see it? Okay, yes, I can make it big. Is somebody else, in the Rockland committee, just verify, please?
I don't think so. But, yeah, so any of those topics, if anybody has any updates, it would be good to know. For the behavior subcommittee, it might be a good idea that we take a look at the new guidelines and see if we need to update our recommendations from last year.
If everything's good, just tell me when to stop sharing.
Sure.
So, everybody saw, and, Amy, I just want to double check. Is everybody in the subcommittees still a member?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay, good. I'll stop sharing that, making sure. Thank you.
So I would like to propose that we take some time as maybe part of our subcommittee updates to ask if we can schedule or at least initiate scheduling our next subcommittee meetings.
Amy, can we do that in January? It's
Yeah.
December, I mean,
Yeah, I'm just thinking, get them on the calendar so we know when they are, is what I was thinking.
okay, yeah, because it's December, I mean, we have one more week and Adrian works at a school, I work at a school. And honestly, it's
Yeah,
really packed.
yeah, I know. I'm just trying to get them on the calendar so we know when they are. So we make it easier on ourselves.
Okay.
So looking at January though, can we have maybe each of the subcommittee leaders contact their people because it'll be under quorum and see what January looks like? Is that a doable thing, do you think?
Amy, just for clarification, for next meeting, you want us to have an update for each subcommittee? Is that it?
Even if you haven't met, um, um, then at least, tell us when your next meeting is.
Okie dokie, that's fine. Just so that we can get in January, we can meet. Coming to meetings, when do we get for our next CAC meeting? Did it get, because we had a proposed date, but we haven't received confirmation. And I know that myself and Adrian need to plan ahead, and I know Tara and some other people too.
Yeah.
So how soon can we know for our next meeting? I think it was in January. Did we get the
I think it was originally supposed to be in February. Like, it may be right. Laura, do we have
Yeah.
any updates on when our next meeting is?
So we had originally, at the last meeting, we had originally proposed February, but then realized we needed to close out this year. So we're meeting in December. So we can still keep that February date, or would you like to move to March? Because that would be kind of keeping us on the every 3 months cycle. Because we have to meet 4 times a year.
let's keep it in January
Or February?
or February.
Yeah, February.
The thing is that you move it to March, it's gonna be spring break and there's gonna be a lot of people. And I'm hoping that for our second one, it's not in June. I'm a school teacher, that's the only month that I get off. So I don't wanna have to just stop for my no technology, no nothing month for a meeting.
Yeah, so we can do February. And
Yeah, we can do the 11th or the 18th if one of those works for.
yeah. Yeah. In February, and then 3 months would be May.
Yes.
February 11th. Who's available on those days? I'm good for both, but I would prefer the 11th.
I can't do the 11th or the 18th. 18th.
18th, Tara?
No, sorry. It's Ash Wednesday. I can do it, just not the whole time. How about that?
Can we do the 12th, February 12th?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me about Ash Wednesday. It wasn't in my calendar yet. Thank you.
So we'll go ahead and set for February 12th. And I'll confirm with
I'm checking real fast,
okay.
but I think so. Yes, I can do that. So we are asking for February 12th. Sounds good. Should we try looking for May as well?
Yes, please.
So
For me, the 13th or the 14th. Does one of those work for everybody?
the 13th or the 14th, right?
Yes.
Kara, are you available those days, May 13th or 14th?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
I prefer the 14th, but can do either one.
We'll have Laura view the availability of both days and just go with one.
Yeah,
But the sooner you can email us, like before the end of the year would be great. That way we can, put it in the agenda, in our calendars already.
Claudia put in the chat that February 11th and 12th, and also the May proposed dates do not work for her. So do we need to go back and look at those again?
Claudia. Claudia, are there other days within that week that would work better for you?
My apologies. I lead meetings at the district or archdiocesan level rather. And so I lead meetings specifically on those dates that you listed. I am available on February the 19th.
I'm available on the 19th too. Adrian? That works for me.
Yes, that works.
Kara, does the 19th work for you?
Yes, it does.
Okay, February 19th then.
Yeah, I can make that happen.
What about May?
I'm scrolling to May. I'm looking for your proposed dates to look for that week, the 13th or the 14th. For that same week, I'm available on Monday or Friday, but the following week I'm available that Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay, you give us dates?
The 20th or 21st.
I can do the
Okay.
21st.
The last day for us.
Oh,
Or
wait.
you said
You're right. That is last day. No.
Monday,
Last day.
the 11th, right?
I can't do Mondays.
I can't do the 11th either. Will the 20th work?
The 20th works for me.
Anybody else?
Works for
I
me.
don't think, hold on. Where'd it go?
It's a Wednesday.
No, I have another council meeting that day. Same time.
What about the 27th?
That's the after the weekend, I'm gone.
Yeah, I think
What
I'm
about
out.
the 6th?
The 6th?
No, no, I can't have a principals meeting all day. 7th,
What about the
9th,
And 9th is on a Saturday.
no, I was thinking 19th, I'm sorry.
19.
19 works for me.
Not for me.
Tara, are you available on the 19th?
Yes, I think that was Claudia that said she wasn't.
Oh, who's that?
Claudia.
What about the 15th?
I think
On the
15th.
on
Claudia,
the
you said
14th, I'm available until 10:20.
the 14th. And you said you were available on the 15th?
On the 15th, yes. I'm available on the 15th, and on the 14th, I can make it work, but I have a meeting at 10:30. So I would have to leave like at 10:20, 10:25.
On the
I'm
15th.
good with the 15th.
I'll be driving to West Texas, but I can call in on the phone. Just know that I might drop a few times. So I
Okay.
can do the 15th and just call from the car.
You guys had said either May 13th or 14th. Would me leaving at 10:25 cause an issue? On May 14th?
At 10:25? They don't take that long,
Uh-huh. So then
unless we meet subcommittees.
then I wouldn't be able to meet with my subcommittee that day, but I can make the main meeting on May 14th, which is one of the dates that you proposed in May.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
try to do that, because I don't want Tara driving and being on the phone. That's
Yeah.
too dangerous, Tara. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, the 14th, and then Claudia will just have to leave early.
Okay.
Aaron, do all these days work for you?
Who was that, Janie? Who did you ask?
I'm asking Aaron because he's been very quiet.
Yeah, they're that far out. I can pretty flexible.
And Lori, they work for you too?
Janie, do you need a few minutes to edit the minutes?
I think probably. So before I continue, can you please tell me what topics we're gonna be going over for next? I said, a DSTA presentation on teacher-student ratio, specifically the life skills unit.
Right,
And we didn't get that, so.
right, and we need our finance update. Laura, was there anything else that you caught that we requested for next meeting?
I'll get somebody from monitoring to be able to speak to the dyslexia.
Right, and we would like a special education finance update as well.
Yes.
Are there any presentations that the subcommittees need to do their work?
I mean, exactly. Perfect. But then whenever you do need some, call me. I can. Okay. Thanks. Yeah.
One thing for the next meeting, I have been in touch with the Office of the Governor about applications. And so they have been receiving some applications and they are hoping to get those processed and the appointments done come January. So I will keep y'all informed as I hear more. I know that we're still looking for parents. So I've been putting it in newsletters, trying to spread the word through our avenues, but we'll continue to look for more parent representatives to be a member. But there are some other applications that have come through, and like I said, they're hoping to have those appointed by January. So I will keep y'all posted. But hopefully, come the February meeting, we'll have our new members.
Amy, if you're speaking to us, you're on mute.
I would like to propose that we add to the agenda for the February meeting a short introduction to what we are doing as the CAC and where we are with our recommendations for the new members so that they're not lost.
Amy, do we have new members right now?
We don't, but we will for the February meeting. Thank you.
Amy, and I still want to see if TA has anything in regards to teacher-student ratios, specifically on teachers providing services in the life skills or self-contained unit. And if students that have behavioral or accommodations that are in the self-contained unit or life skills are in the same classroom, is that there are students that don't have behavioral issues?
Okay. Laura, is that something that you have somebody you can ask for a presentation?
Yes, yeah, I just made a note.
Okay, I'm ready to share.
Sure.
What was John's last name?
Reeves, Reeves.
That's fine, Michelle.
Yeah, no, Dawn.
Okay, then I'll take that, Michelle here. Thank you. Can I continue?
Yes,
Aaron is present. I think you have him on the absent list.
Huh?
Aaron is on.
Aaron is present, isn't he?
Oh, that's
I
right.
think you have him listed on the absent list.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, I was late. Sorry. Let's say Aaron, I believe I'm on the digital access subcommittee as well.
I'm sorry, what was that, Eric?
I believe I'm on the digital access subcommittee as well, the first bullet under subcommittee members.
Yeah, that should be Aaron and not Adrian. Actually,
Oh,
yeah, I'm not on the digital access. And then number formatting, I believe it's Aaron Bangor. On formatting.
I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, I'm not on the formatting.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm on that one as well.
that's it.
Thank you.
Oh, you have a lot of them.
Yep.
This is still happening.
I move approval of the minutes.
I second Adrian Given.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
We approve, right?
Yes.
You were motion?
I move that we adjourn.
I second.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.